Have you ever felt that pull, that pressure to just go along with the group, even when something feels off? Today, we're going to explore a pretty radical idea, that finding your true self actually means leaving the herd behind. We're going to dive into why so many great thinkers, from Kierkegaard to Jung, have warned us that the crowd is almost always untruth. All right, so let's just jump right in by trying to understand the risk here. What is it about collective psychology that's so dangerous for an individual? I mean, Diogenes the Cynic just nails it with this one, right? He's pointing to a fundamental truth. When we merge into a crowd, something inside us shifts. And believe me, it's not for the better. We basically regress, we sink to a lower level of civilization. Now, Gustave Le Bon, who is pretty much the father of crowd psychology, had a really chilling take on this. He said that when you're in a crowd, you're not really you anymore. Your intellect just kind of shrinks, your sense of responsibility vanishes, and you're left with this weird, intoxicating feeling of anonymous power. You become, in his words, an automaton, a robot just following the program. And here it is. This is the absolute core of our whole conversation, from the brilliant Søren Kierkegaard. This isn't just a clever phrase, it's a serious warning. The path to real truth, to authenticity, it's not found in the crowd. It's somewhere else entirely. So if the crowd is untruth, then what kind of person willingly joins it? Let's get into the psychology of what's been called the mass man. You know, the mass man is a relatively modern phenomenon, and honestly, it's kind of tragic. This is the person who doesn't actively choose their values. They just sort of absorb them from the culture around them like a sponge. Kierkegaard called this person a puppet. Looks human on the outside, but completely hollow inside. Nietzsche had a similar idea with his last man, this creature who only wants comfort, with zero creative spark, no desire for anything beyond an easy, predictable life. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just stark. On one side, you have the mass man, passive, always imitating, looking for comfort above all else. And on the other, you have the individual, someone who acts with purpose, creates their own values, is authentic, and is always driven to grow. It's really a choice between being a faint reflection and being an actual source of light. So this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If being an individual is so much more fulfilling, why do so many of us choose the path of the herd? Why do we do it? Well, Carl Jung had a powerful answer. We are terrified of being alone. It's this deep, primal fear we all have. So we huddle together for what he called the warmth of the herd, thinking that if we all just act and think alike, we'll be safe. But here's the thing, it's a total trap. Hiding in the crowd doesn't make our inner demons go away. It just gives them a dark, crowded place to grow and fester. And that illusion of safety? Man, it comes at an incredibly high price. So let's take a hard look at the real cost of choosing the herd over the self. The price you pay is nothing less than your own self. Jung called it psychological deflation. And just think about what that really means. When you tie your identity too tightly to a group, it doesn't matter if it's a political party, a country, or even a fan club. Your own unique personality starts to wither away. You stop growing because you've squeezed yourself into this pre-made box. You're not developing anymore, you're just playing a part. And intellectually? Oh man, it's a complete disaster. A crowd doesn't reason, it just reacts. Emotional contagion spreads like a virus. Critical thought, deep insight, quiet reflection, all of it gets crushed, replaced by these simplistic, emotionally charged slogans that require absolutely zero thinking. Okay, but this next part, this is genuinely the scariest part of all. Your moral compass, it shatters. Le Bon saw that in a crowd, people feel anonymous, untouchable. That sense of personal responsibility just, poof, it evaporates. And that, right there, is how good, ordinary people become capable of doing truly terrible things. So that was all pretty dark. But don't worry, there is another way. It is not an easy path, but it is the path to a genuine life. Let's reframe this journey of individualism as what it really is, the hero's path. The classic hero's journey is actually the perfect roadmap for this. It all kicks off with the call to adventure. That moment you realize the familiar, comfortable world of the crowd just isn't enough for you anymore. Then comes the separation from the collective. This is the big one, leaving that world behind to venture into the unknown, which is really a journey deep into your own mind. Next, you have to fight the dragon. Now, this isn't some fairy tale monster. The dragon represents all those inner forces, your fears, your doubts, that part of you screaming to just run back to the safety of the herd. And if you win that fight, you get the treasure. And it's not gold. It's something way more valuable. True, unshakable self-confidence and self-reliance.
Now, this is not a journey for the faint of heart, okay? It requires what Nietzsche called a pessimism of strength. I know, that sounds like a total downer, but it's not. It's really about being strong enough to look at reality, the good, the bad, and the ugly, without needing the comforting lies the crowd offers. Think of it like a ship captain who sees the storm coming, acknowledges how dangerous it is, but trusts their skill to navigate it, instead of pretending the storm doesn't exist.
So this brings us to the final and most crucial part of our explainer. This is a call to action. It's a challenge to you to dare to be the exception.
And look, Nietzsche wasn't naive. He knew going your own way would be brutal. He wrote that the crowd throws injustice and filth at the one who walks alone. But his advice? It's pure fire. If you are meant to be a star, you must shine. You don't dim your own light just to make other people feel more comfortable in the dark.
The world has enough sheep. It is absolutely full of them. What it desperately needs is more individuals. It needs you, your unique perspective, your courage to think for yourself and create your own values. So I guess the real question is, are you willing to take that risk? Are you willing to trade the false comfort of the herd for the real freedom of being yourself? I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Take a moment with it, and if you feel like it, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's start a real conversation about what it means to be an individual in today's world. And let's end on this incredibly powerful thought from Jung. In the grand scheme of things, it's easy to feel small, like one person can't make a difference. But Jung reminds us that the individual is the make-weight that tips the scales. You are not insignificant. Your personal journey, your choice to be conscious and authentic in a world that demands conformity, that is the very force that creates real change. Never, ever underestimate that power.